Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man, Lloyd Spencer. You need to find all of the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoff fight and even next season's features at BetOnline. And don't forget that the Major League Baseball is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? Listen, BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today and use your mobile device to join us using our promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, that's B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online.
Popcorn World.
Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of a can. But to make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. That's that popcorn make you smile. Ah. 250 flavors. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
You're now listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Burn Creek Hall of Famer, Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course, Mama Noise's man, Lloyd Smith. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
I know that these two amazing coaches want to start talking about basketball immediately on here and BLEAV in the ACC. I know that, but I am biased because I am a girl dad, and I want to start with the most important player that the new Florida State women's head basketball coach, Coach Brooke Wyckoff, has on her team, which is Avery. I want to get my Avery checkup right off the top. So let's do that. Let's get that going first, and then we can talk whatever y'all want to talk about.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Florida State women's basketball head coach, Coach Brooke Wyckoff, is in the building. Glad to have her here today. Now, how is my friend Avery? How is she doing?
Thanks for asking. She is awesome. She is in her own little 8-year-old Avery world.
That's right.
And really doesn't care about much else outside of that, and is a great trying to be great at basketball. She's working basketball. She's playing soccer, and she's going to have a dance recital. She's going to tap dance in a couple weeks. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So at some point, she's got to have a press conference and decide, though, which one of those three is she going to focus all of her attention to. But that comes later. That's later.
Yeah, she doesn't need any press conferences anytime soon.
Is she excited about mommy's new position?
Yes, she is. As you know, like it's funny, like this has been her world since day one. So she's kind of just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but now she's
So
got full reign. Now she's got full reign.
She's got full reign, but she just literally she loves our players so much. So anything we do, we were going to my press conference, and she's like, "Are the players going to be there?" That's all she cared about.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, so which is really, really cool and just a blessing, to be in this position and to have players that she can be around and look up to. It's really cool.
That is very, very awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is exciting. This is what I know this program has said a few prayers for. If there was going to be a transition from the legend that is Coach Sue, we said, Lord, please make a way for this wonderful young lady to possibly have this position. And we were glad our prayers were answered. So
thank you so much for those prayers. And like we were saying, Lloyd, before we started, keep them coming.
Keep them coming. That's it. So has it settled in? Has reality settled in yet?
Yeah, reality settled in terms of, it's obviously a huge honor. The love and support and feedback and just that I got from the community here in Tallahassee and the Florida State community, women's basketball community was amazing. But the reality of what this job entails, what it means, what we have to do to continue the legacy that Coach Sue has built, the amazing legacy and what we're trying to do, that starts second one, and that is a load to bear. So, and it's great. It's an awesome challenge every single day. But yes, the need for prayer, the need for the Lord, the need to depend on something greater than me becomes bigger and bigger every single day, which I love that about this job. Can't do it in my own power. That's for sure.
Well, apparently this has turned into a interview / job interview because I see my co-host over here, Charlie Ward, is looking for.
I didn't know he was looking. I would have interviewed him for the position.
Well, he comes with tremendous credentials because he just won a state championship. So,
he gets the job like automatically if he applies. But he's busy winning championships where he is at. So yeah. I don't want to miss that.
I figured that would get some something out of the deal.
I love it. I need to take a picture with my phone of this. So many people will be so jealous.
But Brooke, I'm curious to know. The team last year had some players that were going to be coming back. Unfortunately, there were some players that are leaving now. Some graduated and some transfer portal. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to know, where's the state of the program after, we've had some players decide to move on.
Mm-hmm. We are currently in a state of we have small numbers of returners. So we have currently, compared to what we normally have. So last year at the end of my interim year, we had 16 kids that could have come back. 16. Yeah. 2 had graduated and chose to leave and transfer somewhere else and play some more. But we were left with 14 kids last year. That was a lot to manage, great kids, but we can only play 5, at a time. And so honestly, we're down to 6. We've got an incoming freshman. She's number 7. And it is an awesome opportunity to start fresh, to, evolve. And the transfer portal is here and is filled with, there's 1,300, last I checked, 1,300 Division I players in the transfer portal.
Wow.
So we have been working really hard to recruit kids out of the transfer portal, but it's been an awesome opportunity to really create the team that we want, to be able to take a step forward, to be able to evolve and see how we can push ourselves to be even better this coming year in the ACC with a different roster. So it's going to be a lot different, but I'm excited because it's a new opportunity to to evolve.
So let's stay there for a second. The transfer portal, that's got to be kind of a trippy experience for you because you're like you said, rebuilding an entire roster, but you get to go to Costco to get for the shopping, so it's not completely bad, I guess.
Right. It takes and it gives the transfer portal. It's a back and forth. But so many and literally every single day there are so many new kids going into the portal. I mean, it has not stopped. It's been a steady stream of players every day. Good players. And the season for most of us has ended a while ago. And you would think kids after, pretty much right after the season, they're deciding right after their season is over. But you have people that their season ended weeks ago and they're just now going in. So the deadline is May 1st. You have to be in the transfer portal if you want to take advantage of that one-time transfer rule where you can play immediately. You have to be in before May 1st. Wow. So we're expecting that up until that point, there's going to be a steady flow. And meanwhile, we're just seeing, who we can talk to, who fits what we need. So it's really nice.
Wow.
So with that, I guess building out your roster, I know as a coach, you kind of want to have a rotation in some form. And, when you're looking at your, philosophy, how many kids do you play? I know Coach Ham has a different philosophy. He wants to play as many players at, during the course of a game at some point. What is your philosophy on, kind of trying to build out your roster? I know you said what you're looking for. Are you planning to play 7, 8, 9, 10? Once you start getting up to 10, you're looking at somebody having to sacrifice something, or the last 9 and 10 have to sacrifice. So what is your philosophy?
My philosophy right now is the lower numbers. And I tip my hat to Coach Ham and what he does. He's a master with how he has all those guys that are so talented, and he has them ready just to come in. And like I said, last year with 14, it was really difficult for everybody. And so I want, and what I've noticed just as we're playing other people, there's a lot of short benches out there now.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of good players out there now, there's more and more good players. So if you're recruiting, you're recruiting good players, you're not trying to recruit kids that aren't going to play. You're not, and so I want the kids that are here to have opportunity and feel like they have that. So to your point, Charlie, I'm looking for about 10, that, so God forbid, barring, if there's injuries, we can have a good rotation. I just think that's the way, like with the transfer portal, if kids aren't happy, if they're not playing, it's going to be hard to keep them. Yeah. So you don't want a big, long bench of unhappy kids. You're going to lose them.
I definitely agree with, that sentiment as far as the rotation. Because like you said, we were talking earlier, when you start looking at the teams that are playing in the tournament, I mean, they playing 7 people. Yeah. At the most 8. Mm-hmm. And that 8th person is, coming in and getting some spot minutes. And, one of the ways I know for us this year, everyone had to buy into their roles. And that was the key for us, being able to win, the state championship was everyone kind of played their role. And even though they didn't like it at some point, they understood and trusted the coach. and they were great in their role.
Mm,
But you need some dominant players to be able to say, "Hey, I'm taking the reins.
yeah.
I'm the leader," and you need some people to just play the roles each and every night, and it could
Yep.
be someone different.
Yeah.
You need certain people playing their roles and being different each night. But I think that's the trend now is get your 7 to 8 good ones, 9 and 10 be where they can play if things don't go according to
Yeah.
plan or someone
Right.
gets hurt.
Yep.
You can't be shorthanded where you playing with 8
Yep.
and two get hurt,
Right.
and now you sitting there trying to figure it out.
Yep.
What have you. But
100%. Yeah, and that's the thing, like getting kids nowadays, I mean anytime, just people in general to buy into a role, but with all the extra noise that these kids have to deal with
yeah.
social media, we always say it, social media and parents, and it's a constant battle for them, for us, and buying into a role is everything. And trusting a coach when you're not necessarily getting the minutes you want or the shots you want, it is difficult to get there. And so when you're doing it with 10 and not 14 or 18,
Right.
like it's a lot, it's a little easier. It's a lot easier. It's a little easier.
Well, Coach, I'll say this: coming out the gate hot with your first McDonald's All-American is not a bad way to start the recruiting process. I think you got an absolute jewel in Tanaya Lotson. She is the real thing. Like, I mean, goodness gracious, that is a substantial recruit for the program. Tell me how that came to pass and what's it been like talking with her?
Yeah, we've known Tanaya and been recruiting her since she was little bitty. She comes from a military family, so they moved around a lot. And she was in Hawaii when we first heard about her and watched her on film. She might have been in 7th, 8th grade, and then moved to Georgia. And was affiliated with was on an AU team that we recruit a lot out of. So we've known her for a long time and just stayed the course. And she is a kid that's gotten better and better and better, which is so fun to recruit somebody like that. And just a winner.
Yeah.
Just everywhere she's been, every team, high school, AU, different states, McDonald's All-American game, she wins.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
She does that, the things that she's a catalyst for winning, so she comes in off the bench, she's going to get a couple touches, a quick steal. She's going to get a breakout for a layup. She's going to get a block, she's going to make a hustle play to get an extra possession.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
No, you should be. It's funny. She kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Destiny Henderson. Like she's just quick in every way, plays strong, but that you can see it in her eyes. I am coming to get you.
Yes.
And that part you can't even coach. That's just something in her.
It's in
really
her.
impressive.
Yeah, she is. She has that mentality. She has that, and she's hungry. I mean, that's where it comes from. She's hungry to be great. She has that like chip on her shoulder mentality.
Yeah.
And just is just a hooper and loves to work on her game as well. So
how important is having a player like that to kind of set the tone for the transfer portal ladies coming in as well as the returning team?
Huge. You have to have players that is who they are, that you're not having to pull that out of them every day. Like, come on, we got to compete. Come on, guys, losing isn't okay. Even if it's in a drill, you have to have those types of players. And a lot of people can, talk the talk about that. And I want to win. And, I really care. But someone like Tanaya, there's never a doubt. And you have to have those people on your team to just, like you said, set the tone, make that the culture.
Speaking of Tanaya, but you also have some other who will be sophomores coming up next year. We talked a little bit about, I keep forgetting the name, but I know about the numbers. So number 11, the point guard.
Yeah.
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah. And the big girl from Georgia.
Michaela Timpson, KK.
Yeah,
Timpson.
I really like her.
Yes.
I really like the freshmen. They'll be sophomores next year.
Yes.
I like them a lot.
Yes.
And we're talking about Tanaya now. And so now you're looking at 3 young ladies who could be a foundation to your program moving forward. Of course, you need some veterans around if you're going to expedite that, which I'm sure you have and will be bringing in. But just talk a little bit about those 2 freshmen and the importance of that they'll be for you on the team next year.
Yeah, they played a huge role this last season already. We call her OMG, Omari Gordon. She became our starting point guard by the end of the season and just was a huge impact player for us, especially on the offensive end. And then KK Timpson, barely knows what she's doing out there in terms of, she's a freshman coming in there, doesn't understand not many freshmen do understand what's going on, but she's a bucket. She's an immediate impact kid because she runs the floor hard. She posts up. She has hands like Velcro and can jump out of the gym. So offensive rebounds, rim runs.
Yeah.
It's just like it seals at the basket. I mean, she was instant offense a lot of times for us. So that's a great core, a point guard and a post player that are just kind of can anchor the team and in terms of be that core and that building on that for the future. Again, we have some great veterans around them. At the post visit, we have Valencia Myers, Aaron Howard. There's another freshman that didn't get much opportunity this last year, but when she did, she was really, really good. She's the same year as O and KK. Her name's Mariana Valenzuela. She's Mexican.
Yeah.
Good player. Stretch 4, can hit the 3. Big.
She's a freshman?
Yeah, she's going to be a sophomore. 6'2". And really, I think you're gonna see her come into her own with some more opportunity. Now
is that number 14 or 5? 14?
5. Number 5.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah. So I love it. We've got a good young core. The future's bright. We've got some experience on the team. And obviously looking to bring some experience in with a couple grad transfers, hopefully. That there's a lot of grad transfers in the portal. They have their 5th year, they've got their COVID year.
Right.
So bringing in that experience really will help be a great complement to the core that we already have.
So we got a chance to talk about interim head coach Brooke Wyckoff, but we've never talked about what head coach Brooke Wyckoff is. What is she going to be like on the sideline? Because now there's nobody to look to. Now there's nobody coming behind you later and saying, or going to call you later that evening and say, hey, why did you do? Well, Coach Sue still might call you. She still might call you. But what is that? What do you think that experience is going to be like now that you are sitting in that seat and you're it?
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm better. I'm better than I was that interim year. I had the beautiful opportunity to be in that role and then come back as an assistant and having seen, remembering all the situations I'd been in, watch Coach Sue in those situations and observe how's she handling this? How's she reacting? And there were so many moments like that in games, dealing with players, whatever it was that I'm like, wow. I remember being in that situation and I'm really paying attention and taking notes. And most of the time, she was reacting a lot more calmly,
Mm.
a lot, you know, like than I would have, and right, with a lot more poise and maturity. And so, you know, I want to, I'm going to be me always, you know, in this thing. I do get fiery. I do, you know, like any head coach. I mean, you know, Sue does too. She was very
Right.
fiery on that sideline. But I do think having this, and I remember feeling this in the interim year, like when everyone's looking at you, it does make you take a second, and which I'm grateful for. You know, like when you're an assistant and no one's paying you a lick of attention, you can just be yapping and nobody cares. You
Right.
know, like, and so but when you're a head coach and you know that your words carry more weight, people are watching, it gives you a little bit more pause, and helps you to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent, hopefully.
Wow. Are you ready for the ACC gauntlet?
Oh my goodness. Woo! Yes. I love that challenge. I love the basketball we get to play night in and night out with the ACC.
Yeah.
And on the women's side right now, it is popping.
It's tough.
You know, it is such a good league. There isn't a bad team in the league, you know, in terms of there used to be some more of those teams that it's like, you know, this is going to be an easy win. They're really top to bottom are talented players, rosters that, you know, you might see some lopsided scores at times, but for the most part, every team's really, really dangerous. So I love it. It is. It's nerve-wracking, but it's fun, and it's really fun to think about, okay, which players do we need right now, or what kind of team do we need to be really competitive in this conference?
Well, some of the teams are losing some good players, or lost some good players to the draft.
Yes.
And so hopefully that will make it a little bit more competitive.
You're
right. You know, when it comes to, you know, really the top tier teams now are like Louisville, NC State. They're like the top tier teams.
Yeah.
I know they've lost some quality players. I know they're replacing with some other quality players because of their programs being where they are right now.
Yes.
But they still have lost some good players.
Yes.
And so we have a chance. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
Forever the Florida State optimist, Charlie Ward.
I love it. I love that about him. Yeah, we better. I mean, like, that's the thing. Again, like, there's some top tier players. But again, there is some really good, just teams across the board. And I feel like we have a chance to be a great team, you know, and great teams a lot of times win these games, so, you know, and so that's what I'm looking to build, is a team that's balanced, a team that has experience, but that has players that can compete at all 5 spots. And that in the ACC, you really, these days, you have to have 5 versatile players.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have a big, she better be versatile. In terms of you can't just have a big that can do one thing and just can't take it off the dribble, doesn't have a mid-range jumper, can't run the floor. You got to have kids that are really versatile. You got to have 3 guards that can handle the ball and pass. Right. And if not, you're pretty limited. So that's why I'm excited to as we're recruiting, to see if we can fill those 5 spots, have 5 players on the floor at all times that are versatile, and can defend, be versatile on the defensive end as well, because that's important in this league.
I'll ask about your assistants.
Yeah.
I know I put down there Brooke's assistant.
Yeah.
But
the other
I'm
assistant.
Curious to know about, you know, who do you have on your staff? I know you just hired a new associate head coach.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your assistants.
The
Yes.
new Brooke.
The new Brooke, yes. Okay, I'll start with him. It's a guy.
Okay.
His name's Bill Ferrara, and he is coming into this program with about 17 years of experience in women's basketball.
Oh wow.
And he's young still. You know, he's a couple years younger than me, but he has been all over the country. He's been at many different levels. He's won at different places. And he is one of those basketball like guru types that just loves the nitty gritty, about offense and the game and, just loves to study it and is a good teacher. He's a good recruiter, which is huge. He's got a lot of contacts. And the best part about him, one of the best things, is he started out at Florida State his freshman and sophomore year. This is one of the worst things about him. He followed his girlfriend and transferred to Florida and got
But I tell you, that'll make you do some crazy things.
Love will. That's why I blame him. He did it for love.
He did it for love.
You can't hold it against a dude. But I
hope he married her.
He didn't, but he did not. But he met his wife in Gainesville. So
okay, well, that's good.
Worked out. He's got 2 little girls, a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. So he's a dad. He's a girl dad. So I'm really excited about him. And then we've got Craig Carter, who came to us a year ago, who also has a ton of experience, a lot of experience on the men's side as well, and just brings a great knowledge, a great presence to our staff. He is amazing relationally with our players. They really look up to him as like a father figure. And he's great with them on the floor, working with them on their game. And he knows a lot about basketball. You know, he's done it for a lot of people. And then Morgan Tolles is our other assistant, who is a former player who played for Sue and I and is just a rising star in this business. She's sharp as all get out. She loves the game. She's a great teacher, develops players, and just has a great work ethic. So I feel great about our staff, and that's a huge part of building and moving forward. So I'm excited.
Did you get a chance to see the WNBA draft? Did you get a chance to see it?
Mm-hmm.
How important is it for you to get players from Florida State back into that draft on a regular basis?
It's huge. I mean, it is something that most of our players aspire to these days, especially coming in. There's a lot of players that just say, I want to play in the WNBA or I want to get drafted. So to see them be able to achieve that dream or of being drafted or going to a training camp is very gratifying. But it also speaks to, you know, the level of our program, the level of the caliber of player we're recruiting. So that is a goal for all of us, is that we want to recruit and develop pros. Certainly not everybody has to have those aspirations, but I think it says a lot about, you know, who you're going to be in college if you have aspirations to play after college.
That's very, very cool. You're coaching now. I'm assuming you gave up coaching Avery. That's not going to happen anymore.
That went away a long time.
That's over. Okay, all right. Just check it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm so, you know, she's a little girl, and I'm like, I'm that parent. That's it.
Right.
So I drop her off. Right now she's not in a league. She just kind of trains with somebody. Right. Because there's really not, we haven't found like a good league for little girls yet, in Tallahassee. So I just drop her off. If I sit there in the gym, I'm like,
you may have to help you with that.
Pay attention.
Well, there's one part that I did want to say, because this is interesting to me, because you decided, in addition to taking on the head coaching responsibilities at Florida State, you said, you know, it would be cool also to be a wife. So I'm like, how in the world is that? How do you balance all of that out?
I have an awesome, amazing husband that he just like floors me every day with his patience and his willingness to just stay by my side with all this. And so we got married just about a year ago, and we're obviously older. It has been perfect timing, exactly what I needed when I needed it. And he has been awesome in this.
That's cool.
Just along for the ride, supportive, invested in the team. He loves it. He loves our girls. He loves basketball. So,
well, I had to give you a chance to give him a shout out there. So that was
well, his name is Esmo, right?
His name's Esmo. Yeah.
Listen, I love your shout out at the press conference. I was like, wait.
Oh,
that's fluent Spanish right there. That was cool.
I know. Yeah, I had to give him a shout out.
Will Esmo this year be on the coaching staff as a volunteer?
He is on the coaching. He's volunteers, but he only get it at home. Yeah, he thinks he's on the coaching staff. He's really good. He's really good to, understand when I need my space. I don't want to talk, but he's ready to talk when I'm ready. He's got a lot to say.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, he knows basketball though, so I respect it. Like yes. I'll listen to him because
that's good. You would almost have to. I don't know how you do it if you don't marry somebody that has some basketball knowledge.
Exactly.
That's kind of hard to do.
Prerequisite. Exactly.
Also, want to give one of your other pseudo children a shout out. I know you're coming off a Moms in Coaching event in was that the 31st? I guess it was of March. Yeah. Which, by the way, who gets hired on their? Has a press conference on their birthday?
I know, right? it made turning 42 memorable because otherwise, I don't think turning 42 is very.
I would say. So are we to expect more like Moms in Coaching events now that you are?
It is so tough to, as a mom doing this. It's just hard. I couldn't even be there at that event, because I was here in Tallahassee and couldn't get out there. But it went off. The lady that I do it with, she did a phenomenal job, and we had a bunch of moms show up and share. And there's so much that I want to do with it. So yeah, maybe as a head coach, I can, hire somebody, my own personal, not on Florida State's dime, of course, but somebody to help like facilitate more stuff with Moms in Coaching because there's such a need out there for it. So yeah.
That might be one of the other things that husband of yours can help you with.
Yeah.
Put him to work. Put him
to work at Moms in Coaching. He'd love that.
All right. You're talking now. First of all, let me just give our program a shout out. So since the inception of this program, we have produced a state championship coach. We've produced a league champion coach in Scotty Davenport in Bellarmine. We've gotten a Final Four out of Jeff Walls. So I think we're off to a really good start as a podcast. So I'm not saying
no pressure.
I'm not saying it's us, but I'm saying all of those things those coaches have in common. They were here. So Charlie, what advice would you give this brand new coach that's starting out as a head coach in this situation? What's the best advice, being a state champion coach that you are?
Let me get my notes ready.
There you go.
No. There's nothing that she doesn't know for sure. I'm just happy that she has the job. I know her energy will continue to carry over as she move into the next seat over, as they say. I know that's a lot being a CEO, especially on that level. It's just a lot of things, and it's great to be able to have people that you can put in certain places to be able to, do different things that you may need. But one of the things I just want to encourage you with is, like you said, you need 5 players that can do multiple things. Well, there's one thing that I've noticed that we're missing a lot. We don't have very many shooters. And one of the things that I know that was very, very beneficial for us last year as a team was we had guys on the floor that could stretch the floor. And so what it does is it opens up everything. Like if you have dominant players, those dominant players can now, drive the basketball and kick, and people have to, respect the shooters.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years. The teams that when we've been good, we've had some not just one shooter on the floor, but like 3 and 4 or multiple shooters where people can't just be stacking the lane. And I know we have very good post players, but there's no space for them.
Yeah.
Because when we're trying to throw the ball into them, there are people in their laps, and those types of things. And so I know we have good guard play because you've seen that over the years. When we've had great guard play, we've had pretty good seasons.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious to know, like, shooter-wise, like, where are we, in young ladies being able to knock down shots? I know.
Yeah. Yes. Great advice. And I'm so on board with you with that. And so we have right now, post-wise, we have 2 players that, like I was telling you about our Mariana, the other freshman this year. She really is a good stretch four. She has the ability to knock down threes. She did it this year, but she didn't get a lot of opportunity on the floor. She'll get more. Erin Howard, number 14. She is she is a shooter. She has the ability to hit shots. She needs to continue to increase her percentages. And then the guards that we do have, Sarah Bajetti was our backup point guard. She's a really good 3-point shooter. And what I want to do is not be so locked into having a point guard and 2 wings, the 1, the 2, and the 3, and they always are in, like I want this opportunity to revamp our team. I'm recruiting versatile players that we can have our point guards not have to bring it up and be on the wing, because Omaria can hit threes as well. She's got a good shot. She and Sarah didn't have the opportunity to do that as much because they had to be our primary ball handlers. So the people that have moved on from here, didn't give us as much of that as I would have liked, and that's fine. And that's probably all my fault for, whatever I was having them do. But what we're trying to do is get some more capable 3-point shooters, but also ball handlers and passers to find those people, off the dribble. And that's huge as well, that, a lot of times I think last year we could have done a better job of understanding where our teammates were going to be, understanding how the defense was playing us to find those shooters or open 3-point shots.
That balance between IQ and athlete is so challenging to find these days, because you can find a lot of times you'll find one or the other, but boy, when you can kick over the rocks and find both, that's
Amen.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's the goal, is that IQ, that understanding. And it's a big jump from high school to college.
Absolutely.
It's becoming, and the college game is it's getting better and better. The caliber of players in high school, like the skill set they have is really high.
Yeah.
The understanding to read coming off of a ball screen, read defense.
Right.
That's gotten really high in college, but coming in, it takes a minute.
Takes a minute.
Takes a minute. So
I have a question. I don't know if you're going to divulge this information, but
Whoa!
I know. When I'm looking at my team from year to year,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're trying to get to a certain level, this year we were able to get to the ultimate to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone kind of looks at the team that's on top on how they did it.
Yep.
I'm curious to know, like, who do you look at
Good question.
as the head coach to kind of model your team after? Because, like I said, we're all trying to get to a certain level. For us, when we were trying to get to where we got to, we had to go through some teams that kind of blooded us up a little bit, kind of taught us some life lessons on the court.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to figure out how to play against that, because that's what's going to get us over the top.
Yeah.
And then we started to bring players along in a certain mindset, environment. This is where you're going to have to do it if we want to get to the top.
Yep.
And start building your team kind of towards how can we get over the top. These types of players are going to help us get past this type of team.
Mm-hmm.
And so who do you kind of model, or you see you want to be like as far as bringing players in that may be like some of the top tier teams?
Yeah. I mean, I'll keep it right here with the ACC. I truly believe that, a team like a Louisville and an NC State, although those teams are very different.
Very
different. Their style of play. The two things that they have in common that I want to be like, and we've talked about one of them already, is they have 5 players that are versatile. They have 5 versatile players that have a skill set where they can dribble, they can pass, and they know where they're passing, and they have the ability to score in at least 2 ways. And at Louisville and NC State had that, and they had 10 of those players. They didn't just have 5.
Right.
They were really deep. This year and last year. The other thing both of those teams do very well, and again, they do it very differently. They play really good defense. And Lloyd and I were talking about this before we started. The defensive side of the ball is so important. Obviously, I mean, we all know that, but when you look at the teams that are winning, they value defense. Those kids work. And they're good defensive players, and they care about it. And at all 5 spots, they can, like NC State, an amazing team that one-on-one, you weren't getting by them one-on-one. Like their philosophy is like, you guard yours, very little help. So they were phenomenal at that, just one-on-one. Louisville, on the other hand, presses you, switches, jump defense, but it was solid. It wasn't just, it was like those kids got after it and were versatile. And so that, to me, that's what I'm looking for to build a team, is that a team that's cares about defense and can really play it and value it. And then offensively, whatever offensive system we run, whether we're 3 guards, 2 posts, or 4 guards, 1 post, whatever it may be, we're versatile, and we have kids that can do multiple things at each spot.
Well, I'll give you a very recent quote from the great 2-time now champion coach Dawn Staley, where she said, "We won the championship prior to the game. We won before we ever started playing." That to me says we put the work in. And so I think if you can get a team like what you're talking about, and they're willing to put the work in starting now, boy, you can listen. Hubert Davis proved it. You can get there in year one.
Oh my God.
You can get there in year one.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get there in year one.
You
Especially now with the transfer portal. You can get there in year one.
You can. You can get there in year one. You can. Yeah. You just got to have the right mix of players that care about the right things and are on the same page. And that's not easy to do, but you can find that magic and do a lot of fun things. So that's what we're trying to build here. We'll see.
Love it. Well, we are thrilled. I mean, just thrilled for you. So excited to know that you are taking over this legacy program. Normally it is incredibly difficult for someone to step into the seat of a legend like this. In fact, a lot of people will tell you don't want to be the next guy. You want to be the next guy after the guy. So, but this is, I think, is a different situation because you've had the opportunity to sit with the legend. So now it's not a hard transition. So super excited for you. We normally do shout outs at this time. So we'd love for you to give a shout out today to whoever you'd like to give a shout out to. My shout out is, of course, to you for being on this program with us. Thank you for joining us today, and we're really appreciative. But I'll let you and Charlie give shout outs to whoever you'd like to give shout outs to.
Charlie?
You go first, Brooke.
Okay. I'll give a shout out to Coach Sue Semrau.
Yeah.
I just, and I know she and Charlie are great friends along with Tanja, and just we know how amazing she is, and I'm just so thankful for her and who she is and what she's about and what she's done for me and continues to do for me. So shout out Coach Sue.
By the way, Charlie offered her a job. I don't know if she's accepted it yet, but
on
his staff.
I think we got her. We got her in a way, not on the basketball roster. Staff, but she's joined us with our foundation, family foundation.
Okay.
So
there you go.
I'm grateful for her.
Cool.
I don't know. I would like to shout out, of course, I'm a homer, Coach Norville. He's doing an amazing job. We just had our spring game this past weekend, and I got an opportunity to go with Tanja to the spring game. We sat in the Rising Spear box. Shout out to the Rising Spear. Help support the student athletes at Florida State, as they're calling them today, the collectives. That's what it is. To be able to support the student athletes in NIL. So I'm grateful that I'm one of the people that's involved with it, or an ambassador or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just happy that we're in the mix. But Coach Norville, just like all the other coaches, are doing a great job at Florida State, and working to try to get us back, back to where we're competing at a high level. Football, I know Coach Brooke and Coach Ham, and basketball, and Coach Lonnie is doing a great job in softball, and Coach Mike Martin Jr. is working to get the baseball team. So, and I'm not sure who's taking over soccer. Coach K left, but I hear they're still doing amazing things over there as well. So, and all this is under the guidance of Michael Alford. So he has a tough job. He has a really tough job, just like most ADs, trying to figure it out. But of course, I just named all of the FSU sports.
We're used to it, Charlie. We're
that I know about. There's golf.
Every week, I know your staff better than any other staff in the country. I'm just going to tell you, I'm very familiar with.
I love it.
Yes, but it's awesome. Listen, again, so proud of you. Please have a wonderful, wonderful off season. Shop wisely in the portal. Take your time, get what you need, and we look forward to all the wonderful success that you guys are going to have. There's only one other women's team I'll be rooting for other than the University of Louisville, and that's Florida State. So, and I'll even say this. I've never said this to any guest, but if somehow a Florida State women's basketball anything arrives at my door, I will wear it on air.
Okay.
I will wear it on there because of you. That's the only you and Avery. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we got to make sure something arrives.
I'll do that. And I think Kendrick would agree. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but I believe he would agree as well. This is the only other program we're
this is big. Okay, we got to make sure something arrives at your door.
I'm just saying. No pressure, but I'm just saying.
And I'm gonna hold you to it.
I will wear it. I absolutely will wear it.
Okay.
I will wear it. Well, thank you guys for listening in. We appreciate you. This has been so much fun, as I knew it would be. And man, what a journey we are on now. It's going to be fun to see what happens here in a year, because I mean, we're having a pretty good run, Charlie. We're having a pretty good run.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it too.
I am too. That is Charlie Ward. That is Coach Brooke. I'm Lloyd Spence. We'll see you guys next time. You've been listening to Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can be